All right, get ready to dive deep into component engineering today.
Yeah, we're talking about the tiny parts that make all our tech work, from our phones to even spaceships.
It's all about those components, and today we're focusing on how to ace that component engineer interview, which means you got to blend attention to detail with a love for problem solving and be ready for the cutting edge.
That's what's so cool about this field. You get to be creative and analytical at the same time, and then see your designs become reality.
And we've got some awesome role catcher resources to guide us, including their AI tools that can give you a real advantage.
Definitely. But first, let's just lay the groundwork.
Yeah, like what does a component engineer actually do daily?
Imagine yourself as the architect for the tiny building blocks that make up a larger system. You might find yourself researching the newest materials, making sure designs are meeting performance requirements, or even teaming up with other engineering teams to ensure all the pieces fit together.
So it's not just about the numbers, but understanding how they work in the real world. And RoleCatcher's career guide shows there's a lot of opportunity in this field.
Oh, yeah, for sure. The demand is only increasing with advancements in areas like robotics, automation, and renewable energy.
Sounds like a great time to be a component engineer, especially with all that potential for growth.
Definitely a lot of potential.
But RoleCatcher also points out some downsides, like long hours and the need to constantly stay updated.
True, but I think those are just part of the package when you're working in such a dynamic and evolving field.
That makes sense.
Plus, the feeling of accomplishment and knowing you're contributing to something innovative makes it all worthwhile.
So now that we've got the big picture, let's zoom in on that interview.
Sounds good.
We'll go through common questions, and I'll throw in some tips from RoleCatcher's interview guide and how their AI tools can help craft those killer answers.
All right, let's do it.
Imagine you're in that interview, and the hiring manager asks, what experience do you have with component selection and qualification? How would you tackle that one?
This is your time to shine. Show them, industry standards and that you can make solid decisions. But don't just list the steps. Bring it to life with a specific example from a past project.
That's a great point. And RoleCatcher's AI can actually analyze job descriptions and recommend examples from your experience that match what the employer's looking for. It's like having a personal research assistant.
Wow, that's pretty cool. And after you share that example, be ready for follow-ups, like what challenges did you face during selection, or how did you make sure the chosen components met the project needs?
Those follow-ups are key for showing off your problem-solving skills.
Absolutely.
Okay, next one. Can you explain your experience with component reliability and failure analysis? This one sounds a little intimidating.
It might seem that way, but it's also a chance to show your analytical skills. Again, think of a concrete example. Take them through a time you dealt with a component failure, how you got to the root cause, and what you did to fix it.
RoleCatcher's AI can even help you practice these answers and give feedback on your delivery. It can even analyze things like your tone of voice and body language to help you project that confidence.
Wow, that's super helpful, especially if you get nervous during interviews.
It really is.
They're not just looking for technical knowledge, they also want to see how you communicate and handle the pressure.
Exactly. Now let's shift to vendors.
Okay.
They might ask, how do you approach component vendor selection and management?
This one's about showing you understand the procurement process and how you build those relationships with the suppliers. Talk about your criteria for evaluating vendors, your negotiation tactics, and any challenges you've faced in managing those relationships.
And here's where RoleCatcher's AI comes in again.
How so?
They can analyze your resume and pick out keywords that highlight your vendor management skills.
Oh, smart. That'll make your application stand out both to recruiters and those applicant tracking systems.
Right. Keywords are super important these days.
Totally agree.
Okay, let's move on. How do you approach component obsolescence management? This one's about staying ahead of the game, right?
For sure. Tech moves fast, so you need to show you're proactive in spotting components that are at risk of becoming obsolete. Talk about how you mitigate that risk, whether it's designing systems with newer components or sourcing alternatives.
And it's not enough to just mention strategies. Give a concrete example where you successfully managed obsolescence. Show the impact.
You got it. By having a proactive plan, I prevented a production delay and saved the company X amount of dollars.
Now you're talking. Numbers always make a stronger impact.
For sure.
All right, let's talk testing.
Yeah.
The interviewer might ask, can you describe your experience with component qualification testing? What are the key points to hit here?
This is all about showing your hands-on experience with testing procedures. Talk about specific tests you've run, what you were aiming to achieve, and any bumps in the road you encountered.
Don't be afraid to get into the details here. RoleCatcher's interview guide even suggests highlighting times your testing insights actually led to design improvements or stopped potential problems.
Yeah, it's all about showing your value, right?
Absolutely.
That makes sense.
Now let's tackle a common one. How do you approach component cost optimization? This is all about finding that sweet spot between performance and budget.
Right. It's a chance to show you understand the business side of things, too. Share examples where you've optimized costs without sacrificing quality or performance.
And be specific. Did you negotiate better prices? Find cheaper alternatives that still did the job. Quantify your achievements.
Great points.
RoleCatcher's AI can even analyze salary data for similar roles in your area. That way you can figure out a competitive salary range to bring up during the interview.
Wow, that's like having a personal salary negotiator in your pocket.
It really is. Takes a lot of stress out of those salary conversations.
For sure, for sure.
Okay, one last question for this part of our deep dive. How do you manage and organize component data? This seems small, but it's huge for making sure everything runs smoothly.
Definitely important. The interviewer's checking if you're organized and detail-oriented. Tell them about the systems you've used, any software or databases you've worked with.
And highlight how you keep that data accurate and consistent.
Yeah. Even a small mistake can snowball in component engineering.
Exactly. Attention to detail is key.
Absolutely.
We've covered a lot of ground today,
We have.
but there's more to come.
Oh, yeah.
In the next part, we'll explore how RoleCatcher's AI can fine-tune those answers and tailor them to specific jobs. Plus, we'll delve into all the exciting career paths that await you as a component engineer.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to it.
So stay tuned.
So we're back.
Back again, ready to dive even deeper.
We've talked about some typical component engineer interview questions and how to approach those answers.
Right, we laid a good foundation.
Now it's time to polish them up with a little help from RoleCatcher's AI.
Yes. Let's talk about how AI can give you that extra edge in your interview prep. I'm especially interested in that tool that helps tailor your answers to specific jobs. Can you tell me a bit more about that?
Sure. What's really interesting about this AI tool is that it can actually look at job descriptions and figure out what skills and experience the employer is looking for.
Okay, so it's getting into the details.
It is. And then it compares that to your resume and suggests ways to weave in those missing skills right into your answers.
So you're not just giving generic responses, you're hitting exactly what they want.
That's the idea. It's like having a personal coach who's read the hiring manager's mind.
I like it.
And it's not just keywords. It also helps structure your answers so they're engaging and easy for the interviewer to follow.
Okay, keeping it clear and concise.
Exactly. And it even suggests relevant stories and achievements from your experience to back up what you're saying.
So it's giving you that extra ammunition.
Exactly. And the more you practice with it, the more confident and prepared you'll feel on the big day.
That's like your secret weapon.
Exactly.
And speaking of preparation, we can't forget about RoleCatcher's video practice feature. A lot of people get nervous for video interviews.
Oh, definitely.
How can this tool help with those jitters?
It's a total game changer for anyone who wants to nail those video interviews. You just record yourself answering questions, and RoleCatcher's AI will look at everything, your pace, tone of voice, even your body language and eye contact.
Wow, a total analysis.
And then it gives you feedback, helping you come across as confident and professional.
So it's like having a virtual coach.
It is. And it even has tips on how to set up your lighting and background, making you look super polished.
Now we're getting into the production details. I love it.
Gotta make a good impression, right?
Absolutely. Okay, so we've got the interview prep down.
Yeah, feeling good about that.
Now let's think long term.
Okay.
What kind of career growth can aspiring component engineers expect?
RoleCatcher's career guide lays out a pretty clear path. You start with entry-level roles like junior component engineer and can move up to senior, principal, and even leadership positions.
So there's room to grow.
There is, definitely.
Let's break it down. What does a junior component engineer typically do?
Usually they work under senior engineers, helping with tasks like designing and developing components, doing some research and analysis, creating technical documents, and even testing and troubleshooting.
So they're building those core skills.
Exactly.
So let's say you've put in the work, sharpened those skills, and you're ready for the next level. What's a component engineer role like?
At this level, you take on more responsibility, leading the development of components, working closely with other engineering teams to make sure everything integrates well, and even doing feasibility studies to see if new designs are viable.
So it's bigger picture thinking.
It is. You're not just designing parts in isolation anymore. It's about understanding how those parts work within the whole system.
And then even further up the ladder is the senior component engineer.
Right.
What do they handle?
Senior component engineers often oversee those more complex projects, manage teams of junior engineers, and have a bigger say in decision-making.
So it's getting into more leadership and mentorship.
Exactly. And then for those who really want to reach the top, there's the principal component engineer role.
Okay, now we're talking the top tier. What do they focus on?
These are the visionaries. They often lead the development and implementation of long-term strategies for component engineering. They drive innovation, and they're often seen as thought leaders in the industry.
So they're shaping the future of the field.
Absolutely.
That's pretty amazing. So how do you actually climb this ladder?
Yeah.
What are some key steps for aspiring component engineers to advance?
Well, continuous learning is key. Component engineering is always changing, so staying on top of the latest technologies, trends, and advancements is crucial.
That makes sense. Any tips on how to stay ahead of the curve?
Definitely. Advanced degrees or specialized certifications can show you're serious about your growth, and going to conferences, workshops, and online courses can also give you valuable insights.
It's all about investing in your professional development.
Exactly. Another thing is showcasing what you can do.
Okay, like how?
Build a portfolio of your best projects. Maybe contribute to open source projects. Even write articles or technical papers to position yourself as an expert.
Good ways to get your name out there.
Exactly. And of course, networking is super important, especially in a collaborative field like this.
So get out there and meet people.
Exactly. Go to events, connect with other engineers online, join professional organizations.
RoleCatcher also mentions certifications
Oh, yeah, those are important.
to show employers what you know.
All right, some valuable ones are the Certified Component Engineer, CCE, Certified Reliability Engineer, CRE, Six Sigma Certification, and Project Management Professional, PMP.
Those can really boost your credibility.
Definitely. So remember, a component engineer's career isn't just a straight climb, it's a journey.
And a journey of continuous learning.
Exactly. And with the right tools and guidance, like what RoleCatcher provides, you can navigate that journey and achieve your goals.
Now, before we move on, let's touch on those tricky salary talks during the interview process.
Good point. That can be a tough one.
Salary negotiations can be stressful for a lot of people.
For sure.
How can RoleCatcher's AI help with that anxiety?
It's pretty cool. It actually analyzes salary data for similar jobs in your area, looking at things like your experience level, the industry, even the size of the company.
Wow, it's doing all the research for you.
It is. This helps you figure out a realistic and competitive salary range to discuss.
No more guessing games.
Exactly. It's like having a personal salary negotiator by your side.
Love it. Well, we've covered a lot in this segment.
We have
From interview prep to career growth, even salary tips.
a lot of good stuff.
In the final part, we'll look at how RoleCatcher's AI can help optimize your resume to get past those applicant tracking systems and land more interviews.
Looking forward to it.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the world of component engineering.
We've talked about the role, tackled those interview questions, and even mapped out career paths.
We've covered a lot, but there's one more important piece.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
Getting your resume noticed.
Right. That's crucial.
And that's where RoleCatcher's AI resume optimization tools come in.
Definitely, especially with those applicant tracking systems or ATS that everyone's talking about.
It's like your resume has to pass a digital test before a human even sees it.
Exactly. And those ATS are looking for very specific things.
So how does RoleCatcher's AI help us get past those digital gatekeepers?
It's pretty cool. It analyzes your resume and the job description, spotting any gaps where your resume might not be hitting those ATS keywords.
Okay, so it's like having an AI proofreader for those systems.
Yeah, it then gives you suggestions on how to tweak your resume, using the right words and phrases to make sure it gets seen by a real person.
So it's optimizing for both humans and machines.
Exactly. It's not just about keywords, though. It also helps you structure your resume in a way that those ATS like...
Keeping it organized and easy to scan.
Right. And it even suggests adding those quantifiable achievements from your projects, highlighting the impact you've made.
That's a smart move.
It is. Your resume is your first impression. It's got to be strong.
So RoleCatcher's AI is like a secret weapon for getting your foot in the door.
I like that analogy.
We've covered so much, from interview prep to resume optimization, all with the help of RoleCatcher's AI tools.
It's amazing what technology can do these days.
It really is. But before we wrap up, I want to leave our listeners with some thoughts on what it really means to be a component engineer.
Yeah, let's talk about the bigger picture.
It's more than just a job.
It is. You're shaping the future.
As a component engineer, you're contributing to so much, from medical devices to smartphones to even spacecraft.
It's a pretty powerful feeling.
It really is. It's where innovation and creativity meet precision and practicality.
You're constantly pushing boundaries, and what you do has a real impact on the world.
It's a demanding career. You need to be detail-oriented, love problem-solving, and always strive for excellence.
That's for sure.
But it's also incredibly rewarding, knowing you're playing a vital role in shaping the future of technology.
I wouldn't trade it for anything.
To all those aspiring component engineers out there,
Yeah, what advice would you give them?
embrace the challenges, never stop learning, and remember, you can truly make a difference.
Some great words of wisdom.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of component engineering. We hope you found it insightful and inspiring.
We had a great time.
And remember, RoleCatcher is there to help you every step of the way.
From resume to interview, they've got you covered.
Good luck on your job hunt, and we'll catch you in the next deep dive.
See you then.